Okay, in this demo we're going to create a periphery cut, known as a profile cut as well. Just basically it's the outside shape of whatever it is you're making. So I'm not going to do feeds and speeds. I'm just going to show you how to create the toolpath itself. And those kinds of things can be adjusted later. And just for the beginning of class, just want to show you how to create the paths. So again, this one here is the toolpath, cutting the periphery of the part. I'll reduce that. So how we do that is we define the outer shape on the bottom edge. You don't really define the side surface of the solid. So let's close this off and see if we can't make it happen. I'm going to remove the rough stock that I put in there from last time. This is just a simple pad from a simple sketch. I don't think I can hide the pad. Let's see. Okay, so there's your sketch that I created. All right, you can create something similar to that. And then really that's all I need, but this is what we're going to work with here, the solid here. What's a little different about this is the raw stock material will be bigger. Wondering why I have this model up. Okay, so you'll recall you want to be in the part that you want to machine. Otherwise, it's going to ask you to import it. So with this part active, we find Prismatic Machining. And it's creating a new part. It still has the original part, but it's not, there's two separate things. It'll be linked, but this will still remain separate on its own. Therefore, the green check is already on the product. The resource, if you remember, that was all defined in the last one, so we just say OK. The rough stock, if you recall, we got to activate the tree, open the tree up. We don't have to pick anything in this field. Right here is the shape we're looking for. You click on this shape right here, that same shape. It'll automatically fill in the part information here. Same thing in this area. It's waiting for you to select the part body. You don't have to click in here. You don't have to highlight it or nothing. It's asking you to find this icon. So I find that icon right here, and I simply click on it, and it puts in my part number, which is this here. So you got your part number in there now. I could say OK, but the raw stock material, I'm going to middle click on the part to center the part. Also makes it easier to rotate. I got plenty of material this way, but I need to add more material this way. In this case, it really doesn't matter. There's that red line. If I grab that red line and move it, if you look in the stock creation wizard pop-up window, the maximum X value is changing. And here's what's dumbfounding to me. It's in metric here. Okay. So I'm referencing here in case my cursor doesn't show up. But here I'm in inches. So I'm going to bring this up to 9 inches. I'll just type in 9. Okay, and it calculates the metric. Again, you can grab the red line and move it to where you want. Oh boy. So I get nervous grabbing that red line here. I see it now. Okay, so I can move it back and forth along the scale. we just got to make sure we're past this part. Okay, so I'm going to take it to 200 and see what that looks like. And hit tab. Whoop, not enough. Take it to 220. Tab. Maybe that's too much. I'll take it to 210. Tab. Alright, I got enough material there. We need enough material so that I got something to machine off. So see this line right here, that edge of the material, it's not far enough out. That one, it's hard to tell which one it is. When I grab that red line, I can move it and you'll see the Y max changing. Okay, so my max values are all on the positive side here. So I got to move it out so it's far enough past this piece here. All right, and I know that was a Y value, so I could just edit the Y value in the field, type in 170, click off in no man's land. I got plenty of material now. The only one I don't know of is I'll middle click on that. Is this thick enough? See how it's already thick enough? So I'm just going to pretend like I bought that thickness of the plate, and all I need to do is do a periphery cut. So I'll select OK to that. You can see the raw stock material much easier in this example than the last example. Remember, now we have to edit the operations. Oh, and I didn't create a safety. It's not the end of the world. I'm going to go into the part. Wrong part. See, it has that raw stock material. I'm just going to create a plane parallel to the XY plane. And I'm just going to go up 1/4 of an inch. And you see what we got here. Alright, so that's my clearance plane, okay? It's above the part. Again, when I go to NC Programming, it has a link to the model and adds rough stock material to the model. So I'll go back to the part. And under the Edit Pro part, I got the safety plane picked. And there's my plane up here in the top corner. Sometimes that's hard to pick. I'm going to try and double click it. There's my safety plane. And this is my raw stock material. I picked on the top of that. But see, you can't click and then double click. You got to click and then double click. Oh, no. Okay, so I got the rough stock material. I don't have any clamps holding this down. Again, you may recall, the easiest way to hide that rough stock is off the tree, so that I can create the part and double click the part. Now it knows the part, it knows what my rough stock material was, and it has my safety plane. So I can say OK. I'm going to create a cutter tool. So we're going to use a resource creation. And this is not a drill, it's a milling operation. So I'm going to open up the mill and pick an end mill. I'm going to go with hit resource. And this sub part, I'll just call it, we'll do a 1 inch cutter. And expand the geometry. In my library, it knows I've done a 1 inch cutter already. Again, you can zoom up on these and change the values, or you can click on the fields. I know this is the main one I want to change. It's asking for the diameter. I'll type in 1. And then it looks like that, which could be fine. This is the part that's going to hold it. I could just say OK and continue on, but I want to change this to an 1/8 inch. So I got an end mill with the 1/8 inch radius. Oh, did you hit enter? Okay, so I'm going to try and zoom up on that. So the end mill is 1/8 of an inch. So when you go to pocket, there's going to be a 1/8 inch fillet all along the bottom edge. Okay, so this is known as an end mill with a 1/8 inch radius at the end. Honestly, these values are going to be values from whatever cutters you're buying. Just for now, I will, you know what, you guys can change these to whatever you want. I just want to make sure you have the same cutter size, radius, and end mill, 1/8 inch end mill. I'll just make these pretty numbers. Again, you'll get these numbers from wherever you're working. They're going to have cutters that you pick from. But it's nice to know the background of how the cutters get created and how to do them if you need one. All right, I'll select OK to that. I'll change the name of this to 1-inch cutter. I'll say OK, and it will add it to the tree. There you see it's in the tree right now. I don't have any more, so I'm just going to close this off. It's the only cutter I'm going to use. Remember, we're going to skip the optional stuff and go right to the programming part. This time I'm going to use Prismatic Machining. And I'm looking for Profile, which is this one right here. Just going to slide these out of my way. Sometimes it's annoying how many pop-up windows I have here. I don't see, oh, again, it's waiting for me to select Manufacturing Program 1. Trying to move this out of the way here. It's missing from that bar. I'm gonna try and drag and drop it, put it back in that bar. Okay, I'm gonna try and drag and drop this and put this back in the bar. Ah, oh, didn't take. Oh yeah, it did. Okay. So there's your manufacturing program. I got to click on this, and then this will come up. Okay. So when you hit Profile Contouring, it's not going to come up until you click which program you want that in. Now, what I like to do is start with the sidewall. And it makes me think I want to grab the side surface, but it won't even let me grab the side surface. You want to grab the edge. So I grab an edge of the part. And if you need some overtime, you can keep grabbing each edge that is adjacent. See how I grab this curve? It'll grab the next curve as long as they're adjacent. But who's got time for that? I'm going to use this icon here. I'm going to let it find all the adjacent elements. I'm going to let it try and navigate on its own. It's the first icon in the selection tablet. That's this one here. So I click on that. I don't know why it got stuck. It's just like, oh, I'm done. Push the button again. So I push the button again, and magically it will continue. Now I can hit the green check because the entire profile is highlighted. And this whole side face becomes green. Again, that's kind of confusing because it looks like, well, I'm going to grab the side face here, so I'm going to grab the side face here, but you don't. You grab that bottom edge that would represent where that sketch was. All right, then I think the other part will be pretty simple. It's like the drilling the holes. I'm going to select the top surface here and grab this surface here and grab, okay, so first off, I'm in this one here, geometry parameters. It's still red because I haven't got enough stuff defined for it to work with. So I'm going to grab this here and I'm going to rotate this part around and grab the bottom surface. and you'll notice this became green. I'm going to select this and find out why it's red. I have no tool. What cutter do you want to use? I got to define the cutter by hitting the triple dots. Go into the tree and find the cutter, the end mill 1-inch cutter that I created. And now this turns green because it added in my cutter up here. These are all fine. I could do the same thing we did last time, if you recall, for practice. Oh, did I create the plane on this one? Why do I remember creating a plane? Oh, I don't need that because what I'm going to do is turn my rough stock on. Oh no, I didn't make it higher though. If I had made my rough stock taller than the part, I could use that as a plane. As it stands, I'm going to go back to the part itself. God, I could have sworn I created a plane here. And select plane, grab the top of the surface, and 1/4 inch above. Oh, I did create a plane. What a knucklehead. The plane I created was in the rough stock. It's supposed to be in the geometrical set. I'm going to drag and drop this up here. Come on. For some reason, it's not letting me do it. And I can't just go deleting it because I've been using it already as a safety plane. So I'm going to make sure to define this as my in-work object and create a plane off the top surface here, 1/4 inch. That looks like it's good clearance for now. Select OK. Should have went with 1/2 inch just so you guys can see it better. I don't really need to be that high, but it might make it a little easier to see that I'm off the part. Now I can go back to the NC program that I was creating, and in my operations, that profile wasn't finished. It's okay, you can just double click it and it should bring back. Oh, I didn't say okay, that's why it didn't keep everything I was doing. So just for practice, we'll do it again. Grab this edge, use this for an auto search. Kinda, it gets tired, didn't quite finish the job, so we got to hit it again, and now it's able to finish the job. You might think there's a problem, but there's not. I don't really know why it gets that tired. So once it's done completely, fully constraining that or completing that profile, we can accept it. On the top surface, we can select the top. On the bottom surface, we can rotate this around and grab the bottom. This is green now, and up here on the top, we want to choose our cutter. I find it in the tree down here on the bottom. It's green, it now knows the cutter. These are set. I can add an approach and retract, so I click on this and find that plane and double click the plane. Notice that I rotated it so I can't accidentally grab anything else but the plane. Select the retract, click on the pink, double click on this one, select see how fast that went there and created that periphery cut. Again, change the settings, slow the sucker down, hit play, and you see we're cutting the outside periphery. So that's the steps to creating a periphery cut. We'll do one more, we'll do a pocket cut, and then we'll do a face cut and a pocket cut in one step, or in one part. I will try and click on program, exit out, click on this, and hit play here. There's your raw material. I know it's going to go flying already, so I'll just turn this down. And, oh, I did cut through. How did that work? Oh, no, see, I didn't cut enough through it. So what you're seeing is I don't need an end radius here. I knew what I was doing. That fillet right there is a 1/16 of an inch. So I would go an 1/8 of an inch past the part. So when it sits on the tool, usually there's a groove big enough for the cutter to follow where it's not hitting the tool because it's already been cut out. So I'm going to exit out. Now, the reason why that happened is you can hardly see this text, but I'm looking for offset to change my offset limit to go deeper. It's so hard to read which one. I'm looking for the bottom offset. And I got that window on to try and double click it, and then it makes it even smaller. I don't think that's the right one. I'll try and grab the word bottom. And I'm going to go 0.25 to make it obvious. I'll hit OK. We'll verify that it worked. When I hit play, you'll see it's going to be even worse because I went 0.25 up. You got to use a negative 0.25. Okay, so again, when I did the play, you might say, oh, it's not working. It's working, but it's not going all the way down. So we'll exit out. And that was risky for me to do that because I got to try and find that bottom again and grab it. And I'll change it to negative 2.5. And we'll hit play. And we'll play this. And now you can see it's going all the way through and able to cut the entire periphery of the part. I hope you guys have an easier time finding the bottom of that. This is in almost every part I've ever machined having to do a periphery cut. So you almost always got to do a periphery cut. I don't know what parts you're working on where I don't do any periphery cuts, except for maybe like that bar that we did the first time where all I'm doing is drilling holes. I'm buying raw stock material and I'm perfectly fine with the raw stock material I got. All right, that concludes our demo on doing the profile cut. So make a shape similar to what I have and try and do your profile cut.